So we talked last time about leads and lags. Remember, a lag is an end result. A lead is something that's going to lead to the end result. But with this spectrum, you'll notice that every single lead eventually becomes a lag because of time, right? For example, a lead, phone calls, right, will lead to appointment booking. So really, in that order of things, appointment booking is a lag measure and the phone calls are a lead measure. But at the same time, appointment booking is a lead measure to appointment shows, right? So hopefully I'm not confusing you, and then of course, appointment shows become a lead measure for memberships, right? So eventually it all, like, business value is like kind of like the very end, like, okay, all this stuff, those phone calls, there's a certain amount of phone calls you need to do to increase the value of your business. It's just so far away, right? That we usually don't say, hey, listen, I want to increase my value of my business by $1 million. So we need to make X amount of calls. We usually don't do it quite like that. We focus on phone calls, which will lead to appointment booking, which will lead to so on and so forth. Okay. So when talking to your team, now, especially, this is what I learned, is when you're talking to coaches who didn't know they were getting involved with this type of conversation, they just thought they were counting reps and sets and designing workouts. You got to take it easy on them. Okay. Real simple. Okay. How many appointments, FCs, are you going to book this week? That can be a goal, right? And then how are you going to do that? Well, I'm going to call 50 people. Great. Now, if you have an existing like general manager or team member, that might be a little bit too much on the lead side. You might say, hey, listen, my goal is to get 10 memberships this month. Cool. How are you going to do that? I'm going to make sure I have 30 appointments. Okay, great. So the more somebody's tuned into this, the more you can move to the left-hand side of the screen. The newer somebody is, or less in tune, the more you're going to work on like phone calls. Go get some leads, stuff like that. All right. Make sense? Any questions on that? I know this is what I found anyways. This is where a lot of people get stuck. Okay. When making those goals and basically your lead and lags for the week, you also want to look at, you don't need, like, let's say they had a goal of 10 memberships. They did that by booking 30 appointments and they hit their goal, right? Awesome. They hit both. Well, you don't need to change the play. Just do it again. Just do it again. Okay. As long as there's a relationship between the two. I find that sometimes team members are like, well, I got to do something different. Listen, successful business owners are boring. I'm pretty boring, right? You got to be able to do the mundane stuff over and over again. So when you find a thing that works, right? Like even football, who's that coach? I forgot the coach. I think it was whatever, but he just runs the same play like in a game, right? It worked once. He'll run it again. He'll run it again until all of a sudden the defense figures it out and then he'll run a different play. I wish I had their name. You can research it. But that's the whole thing, is keep running that play that's working. Secondly is don't change the commitment. If you didn't hit the commitment, I'm going to make 200 calls. I didn't do that, and I didn't hit my goal. Well, don't change your commitment because you didn't do it. So we have to calibrate. This is all about calibration. If I hit 200 calls, that gets me my end results, but I didn't hit my 200 calls, right? Now, if I hit my 200 calls and it didn't get me my end result, well, then I got to recalibrate a little bit. And then at that point, I might change it to 250. I might change it entirely, right? You got to make sure you do your commitment before you change it. Don't change your commitment if you're not doing it. Any questions on that one? Okay. All right. So rules of thumb, if you have only 2 people on a team, and we'll talk about like who's doing the wigs and stuff like that, don't do a wig meeting. Just build it into your one-on-ones. If there's only 2 people on your team, it's me and it's Josh. I'm not going to do a wig meeting and a one-on-one. The power of the wig meeting is that you have the group setting, which provides accountability and some group thought. The fact that it's just me and Josh, we're just going to stick with our one-on-one. Don't overdo this, okay? Don't overthink it.